This is an expensive inverter type fridge, but what's even more expensive is all the food that's inside of it. If the power goes out for an hour or so, I'm not totally worried. But if it's out for 5 hours, 6 hours, maybe even a day, everything in here becomes a problem. Because as soon as it goes bad, I've lost hundreds of dollars. I happen to own dozens of power stations that can power the fridge, but these are expensive. And you might not want to spend $300, $400, $500, $1,000 on a power station. You might want to just have a cheap, inexpensive way to keep that fridge running. This is a 12-volt battery. It's not the star of the show today. Now this just happens to be a 12-volt battery I had lying around the house. It's a LifePo 4 battery, 100 amps, 12 volts. And this right here is a really inexpensive, probably $15 modified sine wave inverter. This is not what you want to use because this cheap inverter will destroy your very expensive fridge. Instead, what I want to show you today is this inexpensive yet very good Pure Sine Wave Inverter. This is made by, and I'm probably going to butcher this, Junbpaw. I picked it up on Amazon because what I wanted to do is I wanted to find an inexpensive yet quality pure sine wave inverter that we can use to hook up to whatever battery you might have laying around your house. You probably have cables laying around. These happen to come with the inverter, but if you had an inverter where they didn't, you may have them laying around the house. Now this inverter right here costs about $116. The battery really depends on what you want to buy and whether or not you have one. Maybe you want to take it out of the car or you have a LifePo 4. That's a whole different topic. This item right here is a 1,000 watt pure sine wave inverter. And what it does is this hooks up to your battery, whatever battery that is, as long as it's 12 volts, and it takes the DC and it converts it to a very, very clean, pure sine wave, as opposed to a modified step-up wave, which is what that very inexpensive $15 inverter does. Now this inverter is also not a lot of money. I paid $116 for this. I bought it on Amazon. It actually came with the cables that you need. It even comes with a remote screen, and it comes with a cable so you can remotely monitor it as well. All of this cost me $116. The only other item that I would pick up, which I happen to already own, is an inline fuse that we're going to put at the positive terminal of the battery. Now I'm going to show you very soon how this is going to hook up to that battery or any 12-volt battery that you have. We're going to power this fridge because I want to know how long can I run my fridge with a $116 inverter and a 12-volt battery. Now if we're looking at the inverter, operation is pretty simple. We've got a cooling fan, we've got a negative and a positive terminal post, and on the front of the inverter we have two 120-volt AC outlets. You're going to see a rocker switch here that has position 1, center is off, and position 2. Position 2 is if you want to control this remotely through this remote cable, and I'm going to show you the screen that it came with. You've also got a built-in USB-A port and a power indicator light. This is made by a company called Junbpaw. I'm probably mispronouncing it. And the reason I picked it up was it got good reviews, the price was reasonable, I actually like the physical layout and color of the unit. So we're going to test it out today to make sure that it performs as I hope it does, because I want to show you a solution that's very inexpensive that can keep that fridge going. Now again, in my situation today, I happen to have this 12-volt LifePo 4 battery laying around. This is 100 amp hours. You could do a 12-volt 300 amp hour battery, a 200 amp hour battery. It doesn't really matter. Obviously, the larger the battery, the longer you're going to be able to power the device, or in our case, the refrigerator. But I feel like this is a pretty common size battery that most folks have lying around or even in their vehicle. And this is a good one that we're going to use for the demonstration. Now to set this up, it is extremely easy and we're going to do it together. The very first thing, obviously I want to just cut the cable open that it came with. And it came with two nice solid cables here. Let's just take a look at the gauge. These are 3 gauge cables, which is really what you want because again, you could be passing up to 100 amps through this cable. So get the right gauge. If you get this inverter, it actually comes with it. I'm just going to go ahead right now and connect the negative. Same thing with the positive to the terminal. You want to keep these nice and tight. You don't want any voltage loss. You don't want any short circuiting. So hand tight is fine, but make sure that it's nice and snug. Now I guess we will use the screen because I would like to see how this works. So let's just go ahead and take this out of the package. As we can see, it has a remote on off. So basically when we turn this inverter on, we're going to push this to selection number 2, which will allow us to control it from the remote screen. And I'm just going to go ahead, plug it into the inverter and plug it in to the screen here. Next up is the battery. And I'm going to go ahead and place the battery next to the inverter. Now, You can hook this up directly to the battery, but it is very poor practice to just take the wires and connect them positive to positive and negative to negative. Because this battery can produce up to 100 amps, you want to put an inline fuse and you want to put it at the positive terminal. And what I basically did off camera, let me just take the camera off the tripod. I went ahead and I connected an inline fuse here on the positive terminal of the battery, because this is where you should have a fuse as close to the battery as you possibly can, just in case there's any short, any type of issue. This is a fast acting fuse, it will blow quickly. This is the cable supplied by the inverter manufacturer. And then what we're going to do next, and I'm going to put the camera back on the tripod to do this, is I'm going to connect the negative up to the negative post. But before we do all of that, what I want to do is I just want to share my screen, because I want to look at the battery right now before we start the test. I want to see what kind of state of charge the battery currently has. And if we're looking at my screen right now, you can see that the battery is at 100% state of charge. Our voltage is 13.3. We're not charging, we're not outputting any power, and our capacity is basically 100 amp hours. In our state of health, 100%. I'm going to loosen the negative terminal on the battery. And we didn't even see any sparks, so. All right, now that we are all connected up here, we've got the negative connected, we've got the positive connected, we've got the fast acting fuse at the positive terminal. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the rocker switch, we're in the center, and I'm going to put it to the down position, so that way we can hopefully control this from the remote. One of two things is going to happen. This whole system is going to blow up and kill me, which hopefully it won't, or we're going to get power. Here we go. We're in the bottom position. Let's see if the remote works. Beautiful. The screen has come online. Inverter has come online. Let's take a look. Shows we're at 12.7 volts DC. 110 volts AC. We're not outputting any watts. I actually like that a lot, that it shows the output as well. This meter has proven to be pretty reliable for me through the time that I've owned it. So if we're going through function, we are at 109.9 and we're at 60 hertz. 109.9 volts, 60 hertz. I'm very happy and satisfied with that. In fact, let's go ahead now and start the test. All right. So the fridge is currently plugged into the meter. If we move down here to the screen, we can see that it says the fridge right now is pulling about 11, 12 watts. It's an inverter type fridge, so it's going to cycle. This is showing us the voltage now, still about 109.8. It is currently 9:54 at night. Let's just say 10 o'clock at night. Let's let this run and let's check on this in the morning, because I'm very curious to see what percentage of battery capacity we have used between now and the morning. All right, guys, it is the next day. I don't know if you can hear this, but the cooling fan has spun up. It comes on every couple of hours for maybe 5 minutes and then turns off. We've been running the fridge for 14 hours and 22 minutes. I'll throw a quick video up on here. 14 hours, 22 minutes the fridge has been running. Our battery is at 12.9 volts still. I've also thrown in a regular incandescent lamp. I actually charged my phone from this earlier. Guys, this sine wave inverter is a pretty solid unit. I mean, it doesn't even really get warm. This is like lukewarm, if anything. Cables are fine to the touch. Nothing is getting hot. Nothing is overheating. This has been performing flawlessly. But let me share my screen, because let's see how much power we have left in the battery now that we've been running the fridge and these other devices for over 14 hours. All right, so if you're able to see my screen, we have 35% state of charge left on the battery. But again, keep in mind, I'm powering an incandescent light bulb, which is not efficient at all. In fact, let me just go ahead and turn the light off. Because now that the light is turned off, if we look at the screen, we can still see we're at 35%. But if you see at the bottom, it says available time, 4 hours and 28 minutes. And just so you can see right now, with the lamp off, we are still pulling 95 watts right now from the fridge. So we're at 111 volts for AC, 12.9 volts DC, 84 watts the fridge, and the battery is telling us we still have 4 hours and 27 minutes to run. In layman's terms, what that really means, in my opinion, is we're probably going to get about 20 hours total runtime on this fridge, because if we've got 4 hours left to run while we're pulling 84 watts, that's going to put us at 18 hours, 18 and a half hours, but the fridge cycles on and off, so it's not going to run continuously, so that 4 hours is really going to be more like 6 or 7 hours. So really strong runtime from this inverter with the fridge. Again, your results are going to depend on what type of battery you're using, what type of fridge you're powering, But I wanted to show you a base case here. I've got this $116 Pure Sine Wave Inverter hooked up to a regular LiFePO 4 12 volt 100 amp battery, which I just happen to have lying around, powering my inverter type fridge. Now the next question that I'm always going to get from folks is, all right, if I set something up like this, what kind of battery do I have to buy and how do I charge the battery? Well, that's really going to be up to you. You can use like a lead acid type battery, like a car battery. You can use a LiFePO 4 battery. You can use an AGM battery. That's really your decision. But if you get this inverter, which I obviously recommend because it's performing very well for my testing, you need to get a 12 volt battery. And the higher the amps, the longer it's going to last. So this is a 100 amp battery. If you had a 300 amp battery, it would last even longer. But a lot of the runtime is dictated by the inverter itself. So being 1,000 watts, I'm not wasting idle consumption. If this was a 3,000 watt inverter and I'm powering the fridge, a light, and charging my phone, 3,000 watts is overkill, and I'm going to be burning through power just having that 3,000 watts available. So the other thing you're going to need in a setup like this is a battery charger. Since this is a LiFePO 4 battery, I happen to have a LiFePO 4 charger from one of my other batteries. Those run about $50, $60 depending on what brand you buy. And then the cost of the battery itself. In this case, I bought this battery probably about a year or two ago on Amazon. I think I paid roughly $130. So you factor in $130 for the battery plus $115 for the power inverter. You're looking at a little bit over $200 for this whole setup plus the charger. I do just want to touch on the benefit of a system like this because obviously you can go out and buy a portable power station that can probably do all of this, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. But the benefit of building your own system is you can customize it to your specific needs. So if I know that I don't need more than 1,000 watts of power, I'm going to buy this type of inverter. If I want 3,000 watts, Junbpaw makes a 3,000 watt inverter. You can buy the type of battery you want. You can buy the type of cables you want. And if one component goes bad in this setup, I don't have to throw the whole thing out like you would unfortunately have to do with the portable power station. Those are not user serviceable, so you're not going to open that up, presumably, and start fixing it yourself. If a component here goes bad, I can just swap out that single component, and it's going to save me money in the long run. And let's say 10 years from now, this battery goes bad. Batteries do have a lifespan. I can throw the battery out, swap in a new one, my inverter is still good. The inverter does not have a lifespan. It's going to work indefinitely as long as I take care of it. So that is a real benefit of building your own system. And if you're building this in a shed, a garage, a cabin, an RV, sometimes it's kind of fun to just build your own with components that you want, battery sizes and cables and inverter sizes you want, as opposed to buying an off-the-shelf portable power station. So guys, do me a favor. I'm going to go ahead and leave a link to this Junbpaw inverter. Again, I bought a 1,080 watt because for my use case, this is the perfect size. I didn't want anything larger. Cables came with the inverter. Basically everything you need is right here other than the charger. Again, the charger you buy is going to be based off of the type of battery you're using for this type of setup. Guys, if you have any questions, do me a favor, leave them in the comments. As I say in every single video, if you could do me a favor, like, subscribe, hit the hype button, hit the notification button. It means a lot to me. I spend a lot of time making these types of videos to try to show you different avenues, different ways that you can get emergency power into your setup to run refrigerators, lights, phones, any devices that you need. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment. I will answer every single question and comment. I will reply to you. I'll do my best to help you if I can. This is the setup I like. If you're going to do something like this, get a Pure Sine Wave inverter. Don't get the modified sine wave. You're going to spend 15 bucks and you're going to destroy $800 worth of equipment. Guys, thanks so much. I'll see you on the next one.